Your landlord keeps about $30 of your $1,000 rent. 30 out of 1,000. So where does the other 970 go? Because it doesn't disappear. It splits, and every piece goes somewhere specific. To a bank you've never walked into, to a city office you've never called, and to one place so hidden most renters don't know it exists. Let's make this real. Meet Sarah. She rents a one-bedroom and pays $1,000 on the first of every month. Her rent is about to disappear. So let's follow it. In the next few minutes, you'll know exactly where every dollar of that goes, why your landlord earns far less than you think, and why rent climbs every single year. Stay to the end, because I'll show you exactly what to say the next time your rent goes up. $1,000. Let's follow it. First, let's kill the story you've been told. You pay rent, your landlord takes it all, buys the car, takes the holiday, and laughs. It feels true, because you only ever see one side. You see the money leave your account. You never see what happens next. So let's go to the other side of that wall. Your $1,000 lands in the landlord's account, and for about a day, it looks like they're rich. Then the bills arrive, and every single one wants a piece. Quick note, these are example numbers from one typical rental. Your city will differ. The pattern won't. Piece 1, the biggest. And it doesn't go to your landlord at all. It goes to a bank. Here's what most renters never realize. Your landlord probably doesn't own that apartment. Not really. Not yet. They borrowed the money to buy it. A mortgage. Which means a bank owns part of the building you live in. And the bank does not wait. Every month, before anything else, the bank takes its cut. $620. Gone before your landlord touches a cent. That's most of your rent in one move. But it gets stranger, because that money isn't really buying the apartment. A mortgage payment splits in two. Part pays down the actual loan. That's called principal. The rest is interest. Interest is just the fee for borrowing. It doesn't buy anything. It vanishes into the bank's pocket. And in the early years of a mortgage, interest is almost the whole payment, sometimes 70 or 80% of it. So think about what's happening. You pay $1,000. 620 leaves immediately. And most of that is pure profit for lending money. The bank didn't build the apartment, didn't fix the apartment, didn't fix the heating, didn't paint the walls. It lent money and collects every month for decades. This is why banks love landlords and why landlords keep buying. But hold that thought, because there's a reason they accept this deal. A very good reason. We'll get there. For now, one number matters. 620 gone, which leaves 380 out of your 1,000, and we've paid exactly one bill, 4 to go. Piece 2. This one leaves fast, and it isn't optional. Property tax. Every property gets taxed, whether anyone lives there or not. The city sends the bill to the owner, and the owner pays it with your rent, $120 a month. Here's the part that surprises people. You are already paying property tax every month. You just never see the bill. And that money doesn't vanish either. It builds the roads, pays the firefighters, runs the schools, collects the trash, keeps the lights on. So part of your rent quietly funds your city through a bill you never receive. And here's why that matters to you. When the city raises taxes, landlords don't absorb it. They pass it on to you. That's one hidden engine behind rising rent. 620 to the bank, 120 to the city, 260 left. And the next piece is different. The others are predictable. This one shows up with no warning and empties bank accounts in a single day. Repairs, the leaking tap, the heater that dies in winter, the crack in the wall, the door that won't close. When those break, you call the landlord, and the landlord calls someone expensive, a plumber, an electrician, a painter. None of them work for free. So smart landlords do something clever. Every month, they set money aside, even when nothing is broken, especially when nothing is broken, because something always breaks eventually. About $100 a month. Some months, nothing happens. The jar just grows. And then, the boiler dies. $4,000. In one day, the jar empties instantly. And it's still not enough. That's what people miss. Repairs aren't monthly. They're sudden. A quiet year, then one brutal week. So that $100 isn't really a cost. It's protection against reality. 160 left. And now? The piece nobody talks about. The empty months. Every rental has them. A tenant leaves. The apartment sits empty. Maybe 2 weeks, maybe 2 months. And rent coming in during that time is zero. But guess who still wants paying? The bank. The city. The repair jar. They don't care that nobody lives there. So the landlord pays out of pocket, which is terrifying when you own one apartment. So landlords plan for it. They spread that risk across every month, including your about $40 from your $1,000, which leaves $120. Think about what that means. A piece of your rent pays for the months when nobody lived here at all. You're covering the silence. That's the invisible piece. The one almost no renter knows about. And it's why landlords hate turnover. Why they'd rather keep a good tenant than chase a higher rent and risk an empty month. Remember that. It's your leverage. We'll use it at the end. There's one more group, and it's the boring one. Insurance, in case the building burns, in case the building burns or floods. Advertising the apartment. Checking tenants. Writing lease, cleaning between tenants. New locks, legal fees, midnight phone calls. 50 for insurance, 40 for the paperwork. $90. Not glamorous, but real, and it comes out of your rent. So, let's add everything up. 620 to the bank, 120 to the city, 100 to repairs, 40 for the empty months, 90 for insurance and admin. That's $970 out of $1,000, which means your landlord keeps $30. $30 for owning an entire apartment, for the midnight calls, for the broken boiler. But hold on, there's a catch in that number. Part of that mortgage money isn't really gone. Not exactly. Remember that. We're about a minute away from why it matters. Which leads to the obvious question. If it's only $30, why does everyone want to be a landlord? And yes, real landlords vary wildly. Some keep much more. Some lose money every single month. But the shape is almost always the same, which is exactly why they keep buying. Because the rent was never the prize. Here's that catch I promised you. Part of that 620, the principal, was never an expense at all. It wasn't leaving. It was buying. Every month, a slice of your rent turns into something your landlord owns. A little, then a little more, year after year, until one day the loan is gone and the apartment is theirs. Outright, paid off with rent. Your rent. You didn't just pay for a place to sleep. You slowly bought someone else an apartment. One payment at a time. That's prize number one. Here's the second. Property tends to rise in value over time. Not always, not everywhere, but often. So while you were paying off their loan, the apartment was quietly getting more valuable. Debt going down, value going up, and the gap between them, that's the real profit. Not $30 a month. An entire asset, built by tenants who came and went. So now you can answer the question you started with. Why does rent go up every year? Look at the pieces. Rates rise. The bank's piece grows. The city raises taxes. Repairs cost more. That piece grows. And landlords don't shrink their own $30. They raise the rent, add more people wanting apartments than apartments available, and the price goes to whoever pays the most. That's not greed. That's arithmetic. So here's what to do with all this. Next time you get a rent increase, you'll know it isn't random. Something in those pieces moved, and you can ask which one. And remember what you learned about empty months. A good tenant who stays is worth real money to a landlord. Losing you could cost them more than the increase ever earns. That's not a trick. It's just knowing the numbers. And now you do. So your $1,000 never disappeared. It's split. Bank, city, repairs, empty months, and the boring stuff. Money never vanishes. It always goes somewhere. So tell me below, how much rent do you pay? And after all this, how much do you think your landlord actually keeps? Next time, where your paycheck really goes. Subscribe and I'll show you.